CPR location trade setups are really centered around taking advantage of two major trading psychology flaws that afflict many traders, from traders who are just getting their foot in the door and starting on their journey of trading to extremely experienced traders, right? So it's not just like I said, the amateur traders or the traders that are learning to trade. There are some. It's a human psychology that afflicts everybody to a certain degree. Now, we're gonna be identifying CPR locations, right? Or when identifying CPR locations, it adds an extra dimension to understanding the supply and demand order flow equation at a level. So what I mean by that is we need to understand everybody who is buying and selling, right? It's not just good enough to say, okay, well, the bulls are getting in and the bears are getting in, or there's some supply here, or there's some demand there. We really need to break down why people would be buying at those levels, or why they would be selling, or why there are buy orders and why there are likely to be more sell orders, because that's really what we're trying to ascertain, right? We need to know if there is going to be demand at a level and why all the different factions, right, that come into everybody placing a buy order. And buy orders aren't specifically just for people who are buying, and pressing and entering a trade, right? So we're going to go over every pretty much known psychological reason as to why traders will be placing buy and sell orders, and what the capture pain relief location trading setups do is they add an extra dimension to understanding the supply and demand order flow equation. So CPR location trade setups occur around market highs and lows, as well as obvious levels of support and resistance, right? So there are three main trading disciplines that occur, right? And everyone pretty much trades around highs and lows, as well as obvious levels of support and resistance, because that's where we're kind of taught to trade, right? When we learn to trade, it's going to be around levels of support and resistance, and there are lots of strategies, but there are only three main trading disciplines that they will all fit into, and I'm going to be going over how we're going to be taking advantage of those trading disciplines. So we're going to be understanding CPR location trade setups that gives us a psychological edge beyond a simple technical analysis. So that's just me again repeating that. We're going to be understanding, really, we're going to go into depth about why there are going to be buy and sell orders, or potentially going to be buy and sell orders, and who the market participants and why they actually should be buying and selling at locations, which gives us basically pluses in the plus columns, because we're trying to have an edge, right? We want to have an edge in the market, and this is our psychological edge. If you understand who is buying and selling at levels, and where the imbalance in supply and demand potentially is on a price chart. And CPR location trade setups can be used without daily supply and demand zones to great effect, but for the highest probability trades, CPR location setups that I'm going to teach should be used in conjunction with daily and weekly supply and demand zones. So let's get into the training course.